We'll start with lesson number 2, that is plants, their structure and function. Page number 10. I hope you all are also taking your textbooks out. Okay, I'll start. In the starting only, there are two questions asked. What helps us to easily identify the plants around us? And second question is, which are the various parts of the plants? Both these answers are given in the next paragraph in just 2 to 3 lines. We'll just read them. The root, stem, the leaves, flowers, and the fruit, etc., are of different parts of different plants are different. These all parts of the plants, they all are different in different plants. We can identify plants with the help of these different characteristics. Now let us acquaint ourselves with these plants organs in greater detail. Now in this lesson we'll see all this in detail. See, now we'll see about sprouts. The plant that grows from inside the seed towards the soil, it is called the radicle. And the part that grows above the soil, it is called as the plumule. The root that forms from the radicle grows into the ground. See, you can just see in the next the picture, just it is next to it in figure 2.1, formation of root. In that you can see as we are going on reading. The root is thick near the ground and gradually tapers toward a pointed end. This part of the plant growing below the soil for support, it is called as the root. The part of any seed or any plant which grows under the soil for its support, it is called as its root. Roots of some plants produce secondary roots. See, you can see in figure 2.2. See, it is mainly root and there are many more roots coming out from that roots. So that grow obliquely and spread far and wide in the soil. Roots support the plant. This type of root is called a tap root. See, there are normal root also, but the root of this picture, or if in this image which you can see in 2.2, if this kind of root is found, it is called to be as a tap root. Roots bear hair-like process near the root tips. They are root hairs. The root tip is delicate. This is the region of the growth of root. The tip is covered by cap-like structure like the root cap. The root cap protects the root tip from injuries. See, what do you come to know by these paragraphs? That there are not only one type of root, but there are many types of roots. See, in point number 2, there is an experiment given. We'll just understand this experiment by reading. That when you take a glass jar and fill 3/4 of water in it and place an onion on the mouth of the jar in such a way that its roots are towards the water. So you can see in that picture in figure 2.3 how the onion is placed in the jar filled with water, and what happens to it we'll see after the 8 days. After 8 days, the second picture, it shows you that thread like or fiber like roots arising from the stem, they are called as the fibrous roots. Thus there are two types of roots, tap roots and fibrous roots. Dicotyledon plants, they have tap roots, and monocotyledon plants, they have fibrous roots. Sow the seeds of plants like mustard, sorghum, maize, pea, coriander, etc. in an earthen pot. Cultivate the plant for 8 days. One plant grows 15 to 20 centimeter high. Uproot them. This is only finished with this page. We'll go to the next page and then I'll explain you. page number 11. I'll just read two lines from page number 10. That once the plant grows in a height of 15 to 20 centimeter, remove them from the soil carefully, that is uproot them carefully while the soil is moist, and put them gently in a large conical flask containing water. The soil will get washed off without any harm to the roots. Observe the roots carefully to see which plants have tap roots and which one has fibrous root. See what has been told to you in page number 10, that whenever you sow plants like mustard, sorghum, maize, pea, coriander, and whenever they grow in a height of 15 to 20 centimeter, whenever you get time to do this, surely observe them, that whenever you take them out from the soil, you can see that when you wash them, what happens then in these plants, you can observe very properly that which are the tap roots and which are the fibrous roots. Plants like maize, sugarcane or sorghum have two types of roots. Some roots are underground, whereas some grow from the stem and which are just above the soil. The latter are called as the adventitious roots. Besides the normal functions like absorbing of water and minerals, anchoring and supporting the plants, roots also perform some other functions. Roots show some modifications to perform some additional functions. For examples, some examples of the modified roots are the aerial roots, stilt roots, runners, breathing roots, etc. Now we'll see the next paragraph. Do you know? Roots emerging. Emerging means coming out from the trunk and branches of a banyan tree grow towards the soil. See, you can see it in the picture, that roots that come out from the branches, they again go in towards the soil. These roots are called as prop roots. What could be use of these prop roots? In the beginning, the banyan tree has very few prop roots, but later on their number increases so much that it appears like a small forest. In Kolkata, a 250 years old banyan tree in the Indian Botanical Garden covers a very large area. It is supported by thousands of prop roots. Is there any such tree in your neighborhood? See, many a times we have also seen banyan trees around us, and you can see their prop roots which are coming from the branches and they go towards the soil. Now we'll see the next page. Page number 12. Stem. The stem grows above the soil from the plumule of the sprouting seed. Plumule, it is also a stem-like structure. As the sprout grows, the length of the stem gradually increases too. Both the sprout and the stem goes on increasing. There are nodes on the stem. Nodes. What is the node? It has been showed in the figure. Next, that is 2.6 part of the stems. In that you can see the nodes. You can understand very properly by seeing it. The part of the stem between two nodes is called as the internode. That is also shown to you. You can refer that diagram. The tip or the apical end of the stem, it is called as the bud. See, you can see the bud also. Okay. Observe the branch of the plant and identify the, see, you can do this. You don't have to go anywhere out. Please take care. And just if there is any tree or any other plant just beside to your house, so you can observe that for your further details. And this will be as your homework, that you have to draw this picture, that is picture 2.6, part of a stem. You have to draw this in your notebook. This will be as your homework. Okay. Next, leaves. Leaves grow from the nodes of the stem. leaves, they are generally thin, flat, and also green in color. The broad and the spread out part of the leaf is called as the leaf blade or lamina, and its edge is called as the leaf margin. Leaf margins may be entire dentate or lobed. See, you can see in picture 2.7 the different parts of the leaves. Okay, it is the leaf apex, the leaf margin, vein, mid vein, leaf blade, petiole, stipule, and also leaf base. The end of the leaf is called as the leaf apex. It may be tapering, pointed, or even round. Leaves of some plants have a stalk called as petiole. Leaves of some plants do not have petiole. The portion of the leaf attached to the stem, it is called as the leaf base. Small leaf-like structures may be present near the leaf base. These are called as stipules. Each and everything you can relate to the diagram 2.7. Leaves of some plants have a single undivided leaf blade and a single mid rib. Such leaves, they are called as simple leaves. However, the leaf blade of leaves in some plants is divided into many small parts called as leaflets. Such leaves are called as compound leaves. Simple leaf and compound leaf are the two main types of leaves. Now we'll see the next page. Now we'll see page number 13. See, there's an observation given to you. We'll just read it. Observe a branch of plant like rose, neem, coriander, hibiscus, etc. In different plants, the arrangement of leaves on the stem is different. See, you might have seen many of the time whenever you see all these plants, the structure or the arrangement of the leaves on each of this plant, it is different. It may be alternate, opposite, whorled, spiral, etc. Okay, according to the shape, leaves are rounded, palmate, lanceolate, or linear, etc. See in the below picture 2.8, different types of leaves. See the names which we have read now. The picture is given to you. See, some leaves are alternate, some are decussate, some are opposite, while some are whorled. Okay, now next, see, this is an experiment which you can try easily. That you have to take a peepal leaf, the leaf of a peepal tree or a maize, and observe it carefully. What will you see? What will you observe? We'll see, just it is also given in the picture 2.9. We'll read it. The peepal leaf, it is divided in two equal parts by a single mid vein. See, in the between you can see the leaf is divided in two equal parts. Secondary veins arise from the mid vein. Now you can see in that picture also that many more lines are also come out from the mid vein. They are branched and form a network or reticulum. On the other hand, in leaves of maize, all the veins are parallel. They are running from the leaf base to the leaf apex. See in the next picture, just above the where it is written 2.9 leaves. See, you can see all the lines are parallel to each other. That is a leaf of a maize. Thus, the peepal leaf blade has reticulate venation and the maize leaf blade has parallel venation. To understand the leaves more, what you can do, you can take the leaves of different other plants and you can make observation on your own for your knowledge. In the yellow box, there's a little bit, it is written that a little fun. You can try this also. Okay, what you have to do is you have to take a fallen peepal leaf, the leaf of a peepal tree which has already been fallen from the tree. You have to take it and you have to soak it in water for 15 to 20 days. After that you have to take it out from the water and you have to let it dry completely, and you can make a greeting card on the lace like leaf you get. After that you will get a very beautiful looking leaf that you can use for decorating a greeting card. Okay, and just below that there's a chart given which you have to complete. I'll tell you afterwards what you have to do of this. For now we'll just skip it. Okay, so now we'll see the next page. Page number 14. Now see, an open picture of the hibiscus flower is given to you. We'll just see about the different parts of this flower. Okay, flowers may have a long or a short stalk called pedicel. See, the pedicel is shown you in the diagram. It in some flowers it is long, while in some flowers it is short. On the end of the pedicel is attached to the stem. One end of the pedicel, it is attached to the stem. The other end of the pedicel is expanded and swollen. See, you can see as we go upwards, it is little bit swollen, means a little bigger. It is called at the receptacle. Okay, the plants and the other parts of the flowers are supported on the receptacles. Calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, these are the different parts of a flower. First we'll study the first part of the flower, that is called as the calyx. In the bud condition, the petals are covered by the leaf like parts called as sepals, which are green in color. They form the calyx. See, in the picture you can see calyx is shown to you. That part of the flower is called as the calyx. Corolla. Next, this is made up of colorful parts called petals. See, you can see also the corolla is also shown to you in that image. That is made up of colorful parts. They are all together called as petals. Observe the shape, color and smell of the corolla of various flowers like the rose, chrysanthemum, hibiscus, mogra, conhair, tugger, etc. Next, the part we'll see about the androecium. This is the male reproductive part of the flower. It consists of stamens. Each stamen is made up of anther and filament. See, you can see in the picture, anther and filament both are shown to you. So the stamens, it is made up of the anther and filaments. Next is gynoecium. Gynoecium, it is the female reproductive part of a plant. It is made up of carpels. Okay, a carpel, it consists of stigma, style and ovary. See, all these three parts you can see, it is shown in the picture. You can relate it. Second, take a vertical section of the hibiscus flower with the help of a sharp blade. By cutting the flower vertically from stigma to pedicel, both sections of the flower will be seen to have the same structure. Now this you don't have to do, but there's just an example given that whenever you cut the hibiscus plant straight in two equal parts, you can see both the pieces of both the sections have the same structure. After maturity, anthers burst and the pollen grains which are released, they fall on the stigma. This process is called as the pollination. And due to pollination, ovules means the egg cells in the ovary gets fertilized, and the fertilized ovules from the seeds and the ovary, they all develop into a fruit. So now page number 15, the next page, fruits. We eat many different types of fruits. Each type of fruit has its own characteristic. See, we eat many different types of fruit. Each and every fruit has its own different characteristics. There are variations in their shape, color, taste, etc. Correct? All the shapes, all the fruits, they have different shapes, different color and also different taste. Mango, it contains only one seed, whereas jackfruit consists of many small fruitlets, each with its own seed. Observe the fruits of pear, ziziphus, mango, chiku, apple, etc. What do you observe? You observe that each fruit has a different skin or different shell, fleshy part, and also the seed. Each and every fruit has its different skin, its different shell, its different fleshy part, and also they have different seeds. In the case of fruits like cashew, its seed is outside the fruit. See, cashew, it is a fruit which has its seed outside the fruit. Okay. Now we'll see, when you soak the seeds of pea, wheat, rice, jawar or groundnut in water for 3 to 4 hours. After soaking that, when you press the seeds with your fingers, what you can observe them that which seeds get divided in two equal parts. Seeds which get divided into two equal parts are called as dicotyledons. Dicotyledon seeds. And seeds which do not divide into two equal parts are called as monocotyledon seeds. See what has been told here, that whenever you soak pea, wheat, rice, jawar or groundnut in water for 3 to 4 hours, and after soaking them, when you take them out and when you press them, if the seed is divided in two equal parts, then it is called as the dicotyledon seeds, and when it is divided in many parts, then it is called as monocotyledon seeds. So now we have finished with the lesson and the question and answers provided to you on page number 15. All the answers will be given to you in the end of this video. You have to complete your workbook and also your notebook. Okay, thank you.